Hey guys, it's DuVäl and welcome back to the channel! Yay! I have a little special guest here today. Hold on. Queso, say hello. Say hello to my little friend. Yay! He says hello. Queso, say hello. Say hello. He doesn't care. Hey guys, okay, so today I am just setting up, meeting with you guys here on a Saturday morning to talk about something that I probably get asked the most on all of my social media. That's always questions about my wall color. I usually stick to pretty much the same colors that you guys see. You probably can't see it here, which is actually already in this office. But I thought I'd share those things with you guys on how to choose the best wall color for you. And quite honestly, just to choose a simple neutral is really where we're going today. No crazy colors, no bold blues and reds and greens, maybe another video, but today how to just choose a simple neutral color for your home. So let's get started. Alright guys, so I have my trusty notebook here today where I wrote things down on because I didn't want to forget kind of the steps that I take in choosing a wall color. Now, the funny thing is that when I talk to friends and family or to customers or clients or potential clients and they're talking about wall color, it usually just seems very simple for them. And so they make this whole trip to the store, they just look at a color and they say, oh, I like it, and they stick it on their walls and they say that's how they choose paint color. And I'm like, that's probably not the best solution, but you can do whatever you want. So for me, I actually go through a few more steps than that, so I wanted to show you those as an insider tip on what I do. And so for the most part, there are 7 steps, and so I just want to go through each one with you. All right, so step number 1, first thing is to choose a color. Simple as that. We're done. The whole video is just that, is choose a color. So wherever you guys go, whether it's like Home Depot, Lowe's, or the paint stores, Sherwin-Williams, Benjamin Moore, Farrow and Ball, the first thing is obviously to just start with the color that you want in the house. So whether you want a light blue, light green, a light pale pink, a yellow, a neutral, a gray, a beige, a brown, whatever the color that you guys want to choose, first obviously just get in that direction and choose a color. I would try to stay away from choosing too many colors at the same time. So you don't want a room that you're trying to paint and you're just in between. Do I want green? Do I want blue? Do I want this? Do I want that? What I'm saying is just narrow it down. Find a color story that you want and just start there. And then from there, so that's actually just tip number 1. The next tip is to review the undertones of that color. Undertones, I don't really know the technical term for it, guys. I know how to use that term and act like I know what I'm talking about. But an undertone to me is really just the base of that color, what it may look like. At different times of the day, a gray can look a little bluish. A gray can look a little brown. A gray can look a little purple, or it can look a little pink. And so whatever that base color is, the undertone, that's not the gray that you want, is something I want you guys to look for. So I brought my little fan deck out to show you guys how to choose undertones. And it's so simple. Let's say we're going for like a neutral gray or a neutral tan. Really, the only thing you need to do is wherever the color is that you're choosing, that's lighter, let's say, whatever the bottom color is in that color story or that color deck or whatever this whole grid is, whatever the base color is, that's gonna be your undertone. For this one where the gray, I'm not too sure you guys can see this accessible beige up here. Does that work? I don't know. Okay, great. The color down here is a little bit more of like a brownish gray. So because maybe you don't want brown in your undertone, that's something you want to think about, where you might find another one that'll be a little bit more of a pure gray down at the base. And even on camera, this kind of looks like a purple blue. Whatever. Long story short, you guys get what I'm saying. Just kind of find the undertone, make sure it's the color that you want to work with, and go from there. Step number 3 is to buy at least 3 samples. Do not get just the color that you choose. So let's say you choose accessible beige, which is actually a color that we love right now. I would tell you to try to get a color that is 1 step up from that, that's lighter, and then 1 step down from that, that's a little darker. Because usually in a store, their lighting is a lot brighter than what you guys are gonna have in your own home. And so since we talked about light bulbs, it wasn't last week, the week before last? That's true. If you haven't watched that, plug in. If you haven't watched that, you should go see that. It's so good talking about light bulbs. Yeah. Okay, so as far as colors go, you just want to choose a color that's a little lighter and one that's a little darker. I'm telling you to do that because sometimes when you put paint on the wall, it'll actually absorb some of the paint, so sometimes it gets a little darker. Sometimes, whether you have a particular base or you have a color that's already on the wall or you choose a particular type of primer before you put the paint on, sometimes it doesn't register dark at all, which is why I want you to get a darker tone just in case. So whatever the accessible beige is our option for today. Let's get one color up and one color a little bit darker, a shade darker, so that you guys can get a range of where you're really trying to land. By the way, I'm realizing that this is not really a technical video and I'm not a color expert, and I can hear by the way that I'm talking about this, I'm not exactly sure I'm doing this right, but this is what we do. So I might link some videos down below of people who are actual color experts who may be able to give you better tones for shade and intensity and blah, 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 which I don't know. We'll see. Okay. For step number 4, guys, I would tell you when you are home and you finally have your paint, you've chosen several paint colors, the next thing to do is to paint the color next to something that is white. A lot of doors in most homes, a lot of window trim is going to be white. So my recommendation is to take the paint color and paint it next to the white trim work. This is going to show you the actual color that you see. So many times I'll go into clients' houses who are already starting a renovation or they're in the middle of choosing a wall color, and it seems like they'll slap the paint right in the middle of the wall. And that is not a good idea, mostly because the surrounding colors will affect the color that you're trying to see. So if you have it against the white, there's really no competing tones or no competing undertones in it, generally, so that you'll be able to see the purest form of that color. So whatever the color you choose, paint it next to any type of trim work that's white, or if you don't have that, maybe you need to get another sample of white, paint a white border or a white strip or a white box, and paint the color within that so that you can kind of see the difference between it, okay? All right, the next step, guys, I don't know what number we're on right now, but the next step is to paint at least a 3x3 size so you can see it a little better. Do not paint a small, teeny tiny portion next to a trim and assume that you're gonna understand what you're seeing. My best suggestion is as big as you can go, paint as much as you can so you get a little bit of better visual, because light will hit it differently, shades will hit the wall. So depending on where you are, just try to paint it as large as you can get it without painting the entire wall, okay? All right, the next step is to paint the same color in different areas of the home. This is probably one of the most important things I can tell you. You have to try this color in multiple areas. Even if it's in the same room, you need to paint it maybe next to the door, maybe next to the window, next to the light, etc. So you can actually see how this color is going to transform in different types of light. So my best suggestion is probably say to at least paint the same color in some location on each wall of the room that you're gonna put it in. If you have one window, and let's say on one wall, the window and the lighting will shoot into one direction, and then it'll shoot into another direction on another wall, and then some parts of the room may not even have much lighting. So you wanna kind of see how that color is gonna transform in different areas. So the last thing I think I want to tell you guys to do is then to review the color at different times of the day. So I want you to, after we have put the color up on each wall, we put it up next to the trim work, we've given ourselves a really good size, I'm going to review... I'm going to tell you to review the color at different times of the day. In the morning, the afternoon, and the evening as much as you can. And the reason why is the color is going to transition throughout the day. Oh no, you did it! It's going to be lighter when the sun is out, obvi, and it's going to be darker when the sun is down, obvi. Sometimes when you see the color at night, it may be darker than you really want, so you may want to go with the shade that's lighter. But sometimes when you choose a light, nice, bright color in the daytime, it could actually wash out, and it'll look almost like white, or it may look too pale for you. And if you really want to enjoy the color during the highlight of the day, you may want to go a shade darker so that you can actually see the color that you want. I hope that's making sense. So we'll see. Basically, the tips for the day. Okay, the tips for the day is basically to just choose a color. You need to just start somewhere. Just choose one color to go with. Don't do 1,000 colors in one room. It gets very stressful. It gets overwhelming to most clients. And I would say just by process of elimination, just come down to one color story that you want to go with. The next thing I would say is, what's the next tip? Number 2 is to review the undertones to make sure that the colors that you want are actually the colors that you're going to put on the wall, and you're not going to be surprised by an undertone that seeps through or peeps through at different times of the day. I would say next to buy your samples. Buy obviously a sample that color that is a little lighter than the one you want and one that's a little darker than you want. I need to pull this out. I don't know why I'm just not. Let's see, what's the next one? I'm gonna paint next to trim work because I need you guys to reference the color against the white and something that's a lot more neutral rather than against the color that's already on the wall. I need you to then paint it at least a 3x3. Then I need you to paint it on different areas of the house as well as review it at different times of the day. All right, sounds good. Alright guys, so before I let you go, I want to give you two colors that we are enjoying, we are loving, and a lot of my projects are in, and that is going to be Gossamer Veil by Sherwin-Williams and Snowbound by Sherwin-Williams. The reason why I've chosen these two colors, I've actually started when I was doing some spec homes maybe a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago. I needed a color that was neutral, soft, but it worked within the tones that I needed, which were grays and beige colors. And I wanted a gray that wasn't too specifically gray. I didn't want a silver undertone. I didn't want a charcoal undertone. I wanted like the softest beige undertone because this color needed to transition through multiple floors of the same house. So we have the color down in the basement, it goes up the stairwell, onto the first floor, up the stairwell again, onto the second level. Because of that, I needed a color that felt very neutral. It felt like it could transition where different parts of the light was hitting it, and it didn't feel like I saw a pink undertone, you know, something just like a green or an olive undertone, which could be pretty in some houses, but it wasn't what we wanted in this house. And so I landed on Gossamer Veil, and I've been using that for quite a bit now, and I'm loving it. Even so, I have it in my own house and in my own office. It's the cleanest neutral so far that I've selected. Feels like it goes very well with gray, but it goes very well with brown, and because I feel like our industry is kind of bringing brown back, like brown is coming back in so many different ways, back into our cabinetry, back into the floors, back into the wall colors, and into our different types of fabrics. I feel like this color is gonna last for quite some time. Snowbound we selected because it is a white, it is a very soft, foggy white that I think I really love for my trim work. So we're now putting this on trim work, on our doors, window trim, even onto my ceilings at this point. We actually just recently did a townhouse, and which I hope to get pictures soon. We did a townhouse, the entire house is done in this Snowbound white, and it is stunning. So I hope those two colors will work well for you guys. Please let me know if you have any other questions about it. I didn't go into all of the different colors that we use, like the blacks we use, the blues and the greens that we are like loving. Even I'm working with these Merlot colors that are just stunning. That wasn't the goal for today. It was just to tell you guys how to pick a soft neutral, how to pick something that will work through different levels of the house, and I hope this was helpful. Hey, Queso, come here. All right, guys, before we go, we have a little special guest who wants to say goodbye. Queso, do you care?
Nope.
You don't care about this. All right, until the next video, see you guys.